Looking at, I don't know.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you tonight to the regular meeting of the Hayden City Council. It is Tuesday, November 28th, 2023, 5:01 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order, please. Abby, could I please have a roll call of the council members?
Council President Roeder?
Yes.
Councilmember DePriest?
Here.
Councilmember Satterfield?
Yes.
And Councilmember White?
Yes.
Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen of council, I have one correction to make on our calendar tonight. We will not be having a Veterans Commission report. That will be at our next council meeting. Are there any other additions or corrections that council would care to suggest? Hearing none, we will move into our consent calendar. As some of you have heard me say many times before, the city of Hayden does business 5 days a week. Many of the things that the city does roll along without council involvement whatsoever. However, some of the things that city council does requires the approval or the consent of city council. Those items that council has already seen and had a chance to look at tonight are 1A, the approval of the November 14th, 2023 City Council meeting minutes. 1B, the approval of the 2023 to 24 contractual services agreement with Technique Gymnastics. 1C, the approval of the Hayden Lake Eagles Area 4080 deferred improvement agreement. 1D, the approval of the commissioners' reappointments. 1E, the approval of Nicaragua Place final plat and acceptance of infrastructure. 1F, the approval of the purchase request for a new 2024 GMC Sierra 3500 truck. 1G, the ratification of bills paid on 11/16/2023. And 1H, the approval of bills for payment. Does council have any questions regarding any of the consent calendar items? Ms. White.
Yes, I just had a question on the final item, the approval of bills for payment, about the sheriff's payment. It looks like the sheriff's payment was made. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's on page 7 of 12. Okay, so is that for 2 months?
Yep, 2 months and the $160,000 for the 2 cars. That's
Okay.
part of the contract.
Okay, thank you.
I would appreciate a motion from someone on council regarding the consent calendar.
So moved.
And what are we moving?
The consent calendar.
We have a motion to accept the items on the consent calendar. Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a second. Any further discussion from council? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please, Abby.
Council President Roeder?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember DePriest?
Yes.
And Councilmember Satterfield?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 2, our visitor and public comment. If anyone would care to make a public comment in front of council tonight, if you would please fill out a comment card at the back and bring it up front, we will be happy to accept that. We have none others. Okay. We have no request for visitor public comment tonight. Item number 3, which is omitted tonight. Item number 4 is new business. The first item is action item A, the acceptance of the election results. I believe at this point, Fonda, if you could help us out here, explain what we have going on with the acceptance of the election results and what we need to do.
So Idaho code requires that you submit into the minutes the election results from the November election. And so we list it as an action item, sort of as belt and suspenders. It's just a motion to accept the election results for the purposes of entering them into the minutes.
Okay. Questions or discussion from council?
Sure.
Mr. Priest.
They have to be read in actual, the results are just that as in.
Just that Alan Davis will be appointed,
Right.
yes, as the new mayor and who your new council member is.
Thank you, Mr. Priest. Hearing no further discussion, and Please listen closely to me here, council. I ask for a motion to enter into our council meeting minutes the results of the consolidated election on November 7th, 2023, as shown in the certification by the county clerk on November 16th, 2023, which is in your folders, showing Alan Davis elected as mayor and Tom Schaefer elected as council member seat 3.
I'll make that motion as stated by the mayor.
We have that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Ms. White?
Yes, I was looking at previous years, and it seems that the precinct numbers were read out loud to be put into the record. Is that going to be done again?
No, ma'am, I had not planned on doing that. However, it is in the information that you have here. That would be a long list. If you have a point in that, I would be happy to do it. If not, I would just as soon avoid doing so.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was, just according to the statute, it sounded like reading the results into the minutes was the purpose. But if that's not the case, then that's fine.
Okay, the motion that I suggested you was recommended by council. And it tags to the certification that we received, which does include all of the precincts.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call vote, please, Abby.
Councilmember White,
Yes.
Councilmember Satterfield,
Yes.
Councilmember DePreez.
Yes.
And Council President Roder.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Item 4B, Viking construction request for performance bond for Carrington Meadows 3rd edition landscaping requirements. Donna, do you or Alan have some information for council regarding that in addition to what's in the council packets?
I think that we have here a representative from Viking Construction. They have this request. Staff has been basically working on the premise that, and some of this comes from council correction and down from others, that the work needs to be done before it's accepted. And so they have concerns and questions, and they wanted to come before council to share that with the council and get a decision. And that's which they're certainly entitled to. You are the deciding board. So that's where we're at.
And who from Viking is here to? Hi, would you care to do you have anything that you'd like to present to council?
I can.
Feel free.
So we just,
And your name, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm Jakaya Cornett with Viking Construction.
Thank you for coming tonight, Jakai. We appreciate it.
All right. We just recently completed the Carrington Meadows 3rd edition of the Carrington Meadows subdivision. And having just recently finished it, with the winter conditions at this time, we're unable to complete our landscaping requirements for the subdivision. And in place of being able to complete that, we just wanted to be able to present or offer a performance bond for the landscaping, which we intend to complete in the spring of 2024.
Okay. Does council have any questions of Jakaya? Mr. DePreez.
Like I said, well, this may go along with Mr. Soderling. This is something that's been known, since time, as far as the requirement for what a sign off on the finalization of what?
In the past, not in the recent past, but in the past, we have, the code does allow for bonding for improvements as accepted by staff. And we have on minor things that have not been completed, and we continue on things that can't be. There's things that just happen right? And so we have allowed bonding for minor things such as landscaping in the past, but in the more recent, we have it's been kind of, we've been directed to be more on trying to get everything completed before we actually complete and accept the infrastructure and the plat. So that has been the premise that staff has been working under. So when you say in the past, I want to be clear that a year and a half ago, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. But this discussion did take place during the pre-construction meeting, so it wasn't unknown that this is the new procedures, but.
And more of a stickler. Okay. I think what I'm trying to understand is, let's say we do not approve a bond and the like, does that just delay the approval of the final plat until springtime or whenever it may eventually be completed?
It would delay it until such time as they could get that work done.
Okay.
And if that's spring, then it would be spring, which would delay them from being able to build any homes or make any improvements on those lots until that time, because lots don't exist until that happens.
Until final plat.
There's one big lot out there, so there's not.
Yeah, not this picture here, we're talking, that's the one, that one big lot that's not, and the expectation was, for whatever reason, that it would be completed by now, I take it. Is that, and for whatever reason, delays or who knows what, maybe you could explain, it has not been completed, so we're at this situation.
A combination of, so when we started construction, we typically followed our construction schedule. We were mostly completed with our infrastructure by September. There was some fine tuning and other things that we needed to do to make the project, ready for a final inspection and final walkthrough. And so a couple weeks, we worked on some of those improvements, and the city gave us what we call a punch list of items to just miscellaneous things. And so we worked on those. And that finally got completed within the last 2 weeks or a week ago. At the same time, as I was saying, it was a combination of things. Our landscaper is also struggling to get on the schedule in September and October. We had hoped and had planned to have landscaping, if not fully completed, for the most part, have irrigation in. They can usually work with that. Once it comes to hydro seeding, once we get into late October, it's kind of a gamble if anything will germinate at that point. So, so we did get back, we got behind schedule a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
And just for the record, they're looking at bonding for about $140,000 worth of work. And so we staff this in our weekly meetings, and I don't have any legal concerns with regards to bonding for that amount until spring.
Okay, I think if we do not approve the bonding, is it going to delay construction
their
to the
ability-
winter or what?
It'll delay their ability to bring forward their final plat.
Okay, okay.
Mr. Cornett, would you use the surety bond company then to provide this bond?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
In the form that's typically we've offered to the city of Hayden, they've been accepted in the form of a letter of credit from a bank.
Letter of credit from a bank, okay. Are there other council Mr. Roeder?
Thank you, Mayor. My question is, I don't know a lot about the process of bonding, but I'm assuming that there's a certain amount of workload that is created for our staff for doing a bond and perhaps verifying the work's done and so forth. Is there a cost to the city that's additional when a bond occurs like this? In other words, do we charge them in addition for that workload to handle that? Or
It's probably best to answer that.
There's not, it's really just,
Filing paper.
we've built up, we've done performance bonds as part of subdivision processes for a really long time.
We do bonds on almost
On
everything.
every
we do.
project, so it's not that much more work.
but it does create more work.
Not, I mean, really not very much
We're talking like an hour.
total.
Does council have any more questions of Mr. Cornett before he sits down and we actually do council deliberations here? Any other questions? Thank you very much, I appreciate that. Council, I have some concerns about this. My first concern is I do have some experience with surety bonds and letters of credit, and the companies that issue these letters of credits and bonds are good friends until you try to collect on these bonds, should that be the case. And at that point, they really don't make any money by having to pay up on the bond. And there is, my experience has been a fair amount of work that has to go into showing these companies that actually the work was not performed. Once that's not performed, then the city is going to be responsible for finding its own, and we get paid for that. The city would be responsible for finding its own contractor and administering the contract and giving final approval on it. Now, as long as everybody pays up on the bond, that works fine. But if there's a problem with the bond, that becomes, I'd suggest to you, can become a fair amount of workload. I also have a concern that Viking has known about the need to have this done since, well, they probably knew it before the September 26th. I'm going to, because they asked somebody to give them some bids here, but we're talking middle of September to now. That's an awful lot of time that Viking has had an opportunity to fix this and has not done it. They have some staff problems, and I understand some landscaper problems. I understand that, but I'm not sure that that's not the city's problem. When I see that they've known about this since probably middle of September, I would encourage council to not view this as leniently, and it also sets, as Mr. Soderling has said, it let folks know that these things need to be done before things start happening on the ground. The city's requirements need to be done. Those are my concerns. Other members of council?
I like just to make a statement. I like the idea that things are supposed to be done in order and complete. I think that's a good thing for our city to maintain efficiency and if we said, hey, these are the things that have to be done, do them. My concern is when you start flexing, well then, how much do we flex? I think that we need to, I'd like to see us move forward with being on time and doing it the way it should be done and completing the task when they should be done and not have to bend or flex because of it. And that would be a precedence that is going forward on any project, not just this one. So that's why I would not support this.
Okay. Mr. Priest?
Anybody else?
Ms. White or Mr. Satterfield, questions or comments?
Do you have any?
No.
Do we have other alternatives to suggest for performance bonds and/or another way? Because I guess what I'm looking at is you don't want to plant grass in November. You don't really want to plant trees in November and stuff. And I agree with everything you and Councilman Roeder has said. But what's the alternative? Can we offer them suggestions that would satisfy us? Such as, I don't know, a cash bond out of their own pocket. I don't know. I'm struggling for solutions here. But I agree with what you guys are saying. It should have been done.
Okay. Mr. DePriest?
Yeah, that's basically, I'm going to tag along. I think Council President Roeder said it very well, and along with what Mr. Soderling and as you basically presented was the way to look at it. We, as Mr. Soderling said, contrary to the past, We are trying to be more diligent, strict, whatever the word may be, now. And if it is known that, the city will flex on you, to use that term, and the like, it does kind of possibly set that precedent. And I think we need to enforce the policies and operate in a manner where things get done in a timely fashion.
Okay, thank you. Other questions or comments? Hearing none, I would appreciate a motion from council regarding the request from Viking for a performance bond.
I'll make that motion, Mayor. My motion is to decline the Viking Construction request for a performance bond for required subdivision improvements.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please, Abby.
Councilmember White,
Yes.
Councilmember Satterfield,
Yes.
Councilmember DePriest.
Yes.
And Council President Roder.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 5, the city administrator report and calendar review. Well, I can fill in a little bit here, council. From our recreation staff, the 3rd to 9th grade basketball is going through December 28th for the recreation and the team leagues.
That's for registration.
Oh, thank you very much. You were going to correct me though, weren't you? There you go. Registration is now open for the 3rd to 9th grade basketball through December 28th. For the recreation and team leagues, registration is also open for the women's 'Tis the Season to Be volleyball tournament. Registration is also open for the women's 4 volleyball through December 23rd. The city's in need of refs, scorekeepers, gym supervisors, age 14 and up. Please spread the word. We would like to hire. The next community event will be Hayden Lights on December 2nd, starting with the parade along Government Way between Hayden and Honeysuckle at 5 p.m. The tree lighting ceremony at McIntyre Family Park, directly behind us here, will begin following the conclusion of the parade. For Public Works, the installation of the elevator is scheduled to start, drum roll please, next week. Please do not hold your breath.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
But we are hopeful. Snow is anticipated this weekend. We know it had to happen sometime. The crews are ready for the season, but as a reminder, please, for our Hayden citizens, vehicles and trailers must be removed from the roadways during our snow events. Basketball hoops, other types of personal property are prohibited on the roadway and the right-of-way at all times. Please get those vehicles off the streets, and that's for all those folks looking at us tonight on the internet. For community development, a joint workshop with the Council and Planning and Zoning Commission is proposed for December 11th at 5 p.m. The workshop will be to review and discuss the proposed changes to the city's comprehensive plan. I'd like to, if you folks could check out your calendars for a moment, I would like to get a confirmation as to how many of the council might be able to make it to that December 11th meeting.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I
Ms.
won't be
White.
able to make that date.
Well, okay, Councilmember White will not be able to be here.
What's the date again?
December 11th at 5 p.m.
It's on Monday.
Wait a minute, is that the HER expansion open house you said?
No, there's a HERA meeting, but the open house is.
Yeah, the HERA meeting, I believe, is
the
at
4th,
3,
something like that.
I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So this is a joint workshop with the Planning and Zoning Commission.
The open house is the 5th.
Oh.
I can be there on the 11th.
Okay, Mr. DePriest can make it,
What time again?
5 p.m.?
Yeah, I see we have a HER meeting at 3, so that would follow right after.
Yes.
Yeah, I can be there.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Roder can make it. Mr. Satterfield, you could make it. Okay, great. That's good. I know that Planning and Zoning has been working for at least 2 sessions in trying to come up with some suggested opportunities for changing some of the language in the goals and policies on the plan, and they're interested in discussing that with us. I would also like to invite council members and to a Kootenai Connect on housing growth. They are having a a joint planning and zoning commission workshop to be held December 13th from 5:30 to 7:30. The reason I bring this up to council is that they have asked if we could give them a number of council members that may be attending. I believe Mr. DePriest is the one at this point that has agreed to make it to that meeting. Any other council members can make that meeting, do you think?
No.
Okay,
No, I won't be able to.
no, okay. Donna, Mr. DePriest is the one that will be, plus any of the city staff that would like to make that. Okay. For administration, we have an upcoming meeting here. We have a December 5th at 4 to 7 p.m. We are going to have an urban renewal district expansion open house. It'll be from 4 till 7. And also, for council members, you are probably all aware of this, but we will only have one council meeting scheduled for December, and that's on the 12th. So December 12th will be our only December meeting this year. The other one would be December 26th, and we pretty much decided not to do that.
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. White?
are the planning and zoning meetings for the 4th and the 18th canceled as noted here?
I do not know.
They are not.
They are not canceled. They will
Okay.
be.
It shows on the
It shows
calendar.
it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but they are not.
So the Planning and Zoning Commission is going to meet the 4th, the 11th, and the 18th.
And they met last Monday, 4 weeks in a row.
Okay,
Yeah, last
we're busy folks.
Wow.
At this point, I would request a motion from council. Well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. I want everybody, please, to look at your watches. We are actually looking at a regular council meeting ending at 5:27. This is a monumental occasion. And thank you very much for being here tonight. I'm sorry.
Did you want to do this item?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, before we do that, my apologies. Do we have any roundtable items for council, from council?
I just have one question. The new elevator, will it have elevator music? I mean,
I hope not.
We get the contract and pay for that stuff nowadays, so.
should come with it.
Then I would appreciate a motion from council to enter into an executive session under Idaho Code 74-2061C to acquire an interest in real property which is not owned by a public agency.
So moved.
We have that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, any discussion? Roll call vote, please, Abby.
Council President Roder?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Satterfield?
Yes.
And Councilmember DePriest?
Yep.
That's okay.
Thank you all for coming. In 5 minutes, we will reconvene for an executive session.